Mario, you're laughing when you hear what Stevie said there. Do you think players are overcoached these days?
No, because I think, like even for all the guys who are sitting there, and Dimitar, it's similar, we come from the streets, we play football on the streets. So when you're going to prep us like we're almost like a robot, we're not going to produce the things that you want to see. And I think that's what he's jumping on, because clearly Stevie's time was definitely street football. I come from Amsterdam, that's the only thing, you understand, like that's what we do. We go on the street, play the balls, but nowadays sometimes the kids go like, no, it hurts when I fall down. No, it's not about that. Or you listen too much to your coach, because sometimes you have a coach in front of you and he tells you exactly what to do. I tell you, yes, you have to listen to some of the things he says, but don't lose your own spark. But by losing your own spark is not, you got to test your coach too. Just like you test your parents, you got to test your coach too and take the ball on and dribble past people. And some players just don't do that. And I'm like, why not? Do it.
What do you think?
Don't do it.
What do you think of all this, Dimitar? Because obviously these players have the flair. Are you seeing enough of it from them, or do you think that they are overcoached?
Well, times are different, obviously, since our times when we used to play, and probably now it's a bit more tactical, yes. Let's not forget that the points count, and sometimes, depending who your manager is, yes, you can challenge him, but then if you have someone like Pep, Klopp, you want to please them, you want to do what they say, you want to play. And you want to be the guy that is going to do what the coach is saying. Of course, if you're someone with more flair, you will challenge the coach and you want to show how good you are actually on the pitch. And you have players like this, the artists on the pitch, the guys that make the difference. They still are there, and hopefully they will continue to be there. Like Bruno Fernandes is for United, the guy who can make the difference, who can score from a free kick, a brilliant goal, or can make an assist. You still have players like this. And for the sake of the game, I hope that we're going to have plenty more, because when you go to the games, you want to see goals, you want to see entertainment, of course, with end result, because you want your team to win. That's not the case always, but you want to go home and you be like, oh my God, what I watched today.
What do you think the solution to it is, Mario?
No, just give them some more freedom. I mean, like, we're talking about Saka. When we play football, right, we want the wingers to get on the ball, and what we want nowadays that we play football, you want your wingers to score. But if your winger is a robot, he's not going to do that. So when Saka gets on the ball, okay, we know he likes to go inside. You block the inside, he goes outside. So that is why we enjoy watching him. Okay, Martinelli dropped a little bit in the effect of what he normally has. But this is what I like. When I watch football, even if I don't support that team, I enjoy when I see people dribble and make the other opponent put some fear in him when he runs at you. That's the joy of football, I think.
To be honest, to your question, the solution is players like Eze, who Arsenal signed this summer. But yet still, certainly since 4 goals against Spurs, you've not seen anything like the player that certainly we knew at Crystal Palace, who played with freedom and played with flair, and certainly in that game against Spurs, did so to really good effect. But the point that Stevie is making, and you see it with both Pep and Arteta, is the game has become a version of chess. If I move this piece here, if this player goes here, I want the other players to do X. And as a result, there's no real creativity unless that player is just given a freedom where everybody else around them is going to do as they're instructed, and one player is given the freedom of the park to play with that flair. And that again is down to the coaching. This is not a player's issue, because you can't tell me that Eze is a robotic player. You never has been. But now all of a sudden, that's kind of the conversation. Well, that's not the conversation. The conversation is, where is the Eze that we knew at Crystal Palace, that we saw a few weeks ago against Spurs? And that, for me, again, comes down to how Arsenal are organised. We sit here every single week, almost regardless of the result, and say it's a very professional performance. And that's who Arsenal are. You know what they're going to do. They're going to do it better than you, but you can't stop it.
What did you like best, Dimitar, yourself when you were playing? What did you like to hear from a coach, and what was the balance between those directions and the tactics and being able to use your own flair as a player?
I think every player like to know that the coach trusts him. When you know that the coach trusts in your ability, you're more free to play on the pitch and not afraid to make mistakes. Then you can fully express yourself, knowing that even if you make a mistake, the coach is behind you, so you're free in your mind to express the best of you on the pitch. In my case, of course, it was always about entertainment because this is how I saw the game. But in the end, you should have the end result. You know, the 3 points to beat the opposition because you play for trophies. You play for something that, you know, when you look back, you want to see that you won something. And because we spoke about Arsenal just now, I think the approach they are taking in some games is pragmatical or direct because for them it's about winning the title this season. They know they have that chance. They've been too much second place team, so now it's win it or lose it for them this season. And that's why sometimes it's more about how we win. Even if ugly, we need to win it. And sometimes this is what you need, unfortunately, for everybody who loves beautiful football. Win ugly, win ugly, win ugly. In the end of the season, you're first place. Everybody will love it, all the fans. If you can win it by playing entertaining football, even better, of course. But sometimes football doesn't work like that.
No, that's definitely the case, isn't it? And Liverpool have found that out for themselves this season, obviously trying to defend the title. Hasn't quite gone their way so far. This past weekend, though, not only saw Mohamed Salah come off the bench for Liverpool, he also became the sole player with the most goal contributions for a single club, surpassing Wayne Rooney. It's 277 goal contributions for Mohamed Salah right now. His corner kick assisting Ekitike for Liverpool's second. We've talked a lot about Salah's current situation a lot over the last week, Dimitar. What have you made of everything that's been going on between him and Liverpool and his comments about him not being happy?
Well, it's a difficult situation because we speak here about Mo Salah, one of the best Liverpool performers in the last years, someone who was carrying the team on his shoulders, scoring goals, winning titles, medals, trophies, everything. And it's sad and like disappointing to watch something like this unfold between a star player and the club. It happened before, it will happen in the future. I've also been in a situation like this where you need to, try to show your ugly side to the team if you're in a situation that you think you need to show it. And in the case of Mo Salah, in his case, big player with big ego, he probably thinks he's unfairly put on the bench, he's not playing, that in his own words thrown under the bus, and he wanted to express that so everybody can see it, maybe provoke a reaction from the team, from the coach. He was hurt, of course. Again, when you're a big player with big ego and you're not playing, it's difficult to swallow it. It's difficult to accept it, even though sometimes you deserve to stay on the bench. I think it was the same situation with Ronaldo in United in his second spell, where he had similar problems, The good thing, I think, is that after the conversation with Slot, probably he was back in the team, making an assist, now having 277 involvement in goals, chance created, surpassing Wayne Rooney. It's a big, big achievement. So let's hope, even though I was rival to Liverpool, but you need to give credit where credit is due, that he's going to be back into the team because he's still, in my mind, the most creative player, the player who can score and make assists for the team.
Yeah, and Anfield certainly showed their appreciation for him, Mario. Do you think he'll stay at Liverpool?
Look, I think the way Slot handled the situation, I think as a coach as well, he calmed it down really quickly. Salah, what we already spoke about, what kind of player he is and what he means for Liverpool. I'm happy that we see him playing again because that's clearly he wants to do that, because if not, even if you have a big ego or whatever happens, if you don't want to play anymore, definitely a player that is in his situation, he could definitely pull the plug and say like, no, I don't want to play the last game anymore, I'm straight away going to the African nations, and after that I will fix the problem. I think they calmed it down because I think both parties are not willing yet to make that step. That is because if not, normally a player that makes an outburst like that will get in big problems. But Liverpool tried to calm it down really quickly, And how they did it, okay, they had a conversation, him and Slot. And Slot, in the interview, you saw that he said, like, okay, we moved on and now we got to take the next step. And that is a little bit how I know Slot. Slot is the guy that he grabs the bull by his horn and then try to fix it and then moves on to the next step. So I hope we all want to see Salah. I want to see Salah to get back to his best, because last season he made me enjoy football. So I hope they can figure it out and smooth it out, because if not, Salah, it's tough to win against a team.
Do you think it is hard to guess what's going to happen next here, Shaka?
I do. I mean, and for financial reasons, if Mo Salah was on $4,000 a week, it's easy. You keep him on. But at $400,000 a week,
A little different.
It's a little bit more in that regard. And especially if say, Saudi Arabia table a really big bid this January, then, from a Liverpool perspective, do you continue to carry that wage packet for if Mo Salah does not get back to the Mo Salah that we saw even as soon as last season? Do you carry that for another season and a half? And but it's not worth it if you only get what you've seen from Mo Salah so far this season, especially, again, as I say, if Saudi Arabia table a really big bid. So it really just comes down to financial decision, and I don't think you can make a decision until you know Saudi Arabia's true interest.
Okay, so that's one of the big storylines from the Premier League at the weekend. Another was what's going on at Tottenham Hotspur right now. And given that we have got Dimitar Berbatov on, let's get him to talk about another of his former teams. It was a rough weekend. It was a 3-0 loss to Nottingham Forest. Do you think Thomas Frank should be given more time here at Spurs?
Oh, man. I mean, every time when we speak about Spurs, I'm wondering what to say, because the performance against Nottingham Forest in the last game, I mean, it was poor performance. I really thought that after Spurs won that trophy, they will build on it. But unfortunately, it's the same old story with that inconsistency that Spurs are showing constantly. They can have a great game, they can win beautiful football, etc. But then all of a sudden something happened and the drop of form is evident for everybody to see. Mistakes, leaking goals, losing, dropping points. Of course, then the manager, and Thomas Frank, is up there in front of everybody, answering difficult questions, asked about his future, of course. I think that hopefully they'll give him time to turn things around, because Spurs are sitting 11 into the table. Again, difficult fixtures lie ahead. They have a lot of football to play, of course. As I said, Boxing Days, around Christmas fixtures, very important for them. But if they don't find the consistency of winning games, it's going to be the same old story and middle of the table finish in the end of the season.
Dimitar, why do you think it is that when Spurs are bad, they're not just a little bit bad, they're really bad?
Honestly, I can pretend to give you an answer, but probably I don't know. We've been there. We played. We lost games. We won games. We make bad decisions constantly on the pitch. But with Spurs, sometimes, as you mentioned, when you're bad, they're really poor, really bad, and everybody's suffering watching the game. And then the manager is sitting there with that expression on his face that he wanted to say something really bad, but he cannot allow himself to say it. He wants to be angry, and he is angry, and you can see it on his face. But he's trying to control it. But sooner or later, he needs to let loose. Is it going to be in front of everybody to see, like we had it in the past with certain managers on the press conference, or he's going to be in the dressing room, in the private of the dressing room, and tell the players what exactly he thinks, because he needs to do it sometimes. He needs to kick them in the butt and say, come on, it's Spurs. Spurs team is always someone that you need to entertain but win games, but not all the time the same old stories, dropping points and inconsistency. It cannot be that all the time.
Okay, one thing that we need to bring up with you, Shaka, is Vicario, because he was criticised for his role in both of the Hudson-Odoi goals. I don't know if I even dare ask you this question as to which is worse, because maybe you're going to stick up for him on both of them.
Well, I am a fully paid up member of the Goalkeepers Union. Listen, and I sympathise in both. In this one, the cross from Hudson-Odoi, he gets himself wrong. This one, Is that who? The right-sided centre-back is wide open. Is that Romero? That's a one-touch pass to Romero. And with this one, he just gets sucked under the cross because of the run near ball, because of the near post run. So he gets sucked under the cross. So that's his fault. The first, I don't think that's down to him at all. It is a risky ball, but that's how Spurs play. Romero is wide open. That's a one-touch pass, if ever I've seen one. This is professional football. Why you take a touch there is simply beyond me. And that is what brought about the goal. So for me, I don't think Vicario bears much blame for the first. For the second, that'll go down as a goalkeeping error. But again, I sympathise.
Mario?
Look, you know me and Spurs, you know, I have to look at Dimitri. He's already going back because he knows. Okay, listen, what I will tell you, I'll keep it short, my friend. Don't worry about it. You know what I only think is the strategy of the coaches that they hire. Because every time they bring in a coach, they got to renew everything. And I think that's the biggest problem, because if every time you bring in a coach, he goes this system, then the new one goes that system. So it's also for the team not really structured properly, because you don't know what he wants. Like, okay, Mourinho, more defensively, break everything up, sit there. Okay, then you get another coach, he wants to play a high line, more attacking. Now you get a coach who wants to play in the middle and wants everybody to be, a level of fitness has to be incredible. But the players are not ready for that. So I think now Spurs they have to have that red line through the club and understanding what are we building, what do we want to achieve, and what is the time frame we need to get to where we want. And if we keep doing it like this, it's going to go up and down. You win a trophy, then you got to wait for a couple of more years before you win something else. That's not good. The club is too big for that.
Hey.
I'll be honest, I enjoy the petty. I applaud the petty. During the game, on their scoreboard, they had Sunderland and visitors. They didn't
I love that.
They didn't have Newcastle's name up on the
no
scoreboard.
badge, nothing, just visitors.
They just had Sunderland 1, visitors 0. I applaud the petty.
Yeah.
Well done.
You like the pettiness, Mario?
Yeah, I saw that, exactly what Saka said. I saw that too. I was like, huh? There's no logo of Newcastle on it. No, not even the name of the club. They just put visitors. And I was like, to come with a tactical move like that for a team to put you like that, I was like, hey, they are ahead of the game. No, honestly, they did well. They did well. And the picture afterwards, no, I'm so sorry, Saka. Hey, your team came. They worked hard, but the hard work didn't work because Sunderland worked harder. So that's why, no, your team was not doing it.
Just before we go to Dimitar on this, we need to mention Shaka's mum. Shaka's mum's message.
we were sitting here doing the Bundesliga game. My mom messages as like, what a goal by Voltemada. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is great. I'm all excited. But I'm not, because we're doing our German game. Only to find out is an own goal.
Yeah.
Cheers, Mum.
Cheers, Mum. Not explaining it was actually an own goal, and Shaka thinking that
I was all excited. I thought the visitors had taken the lead. I thought visitors were what up?
Nope, the visitors had not. Dimitar, did you have a long memory in football? Do you like these revenge tactics?
Actually, I enjoy that because it's a banter of way that, you win, you lose some, then you want to give it back to the guys you're competing with. In this case, I love it, to be honest. The first picture with Newcastle with the fans and Sunderland obviously showing the same thing. This is sometimes the football, the emotion it gives you when it's making a good way of the banter, of the way of, yes, you beat us last time, but now we beat you, so we're going to give it back. I love that, to be honest. I love it.
Let me also say, back in I played in the 10-year derbies where no away fans were allowed, where it was just that kind of there was so much animosity between two sets of fans that there was no away fans, and it made for an awful atmosphere just from a footballing perspective. But I thought it takes so much away from the game. But then you see this, and this I think players love, I think fans love. This is good banter that anybody can even an honorary Geordie can appreciate. I'm with everybody on this. I love it.
There's a long way to go, and they need to sort of almost fix themselves mentally. There's a long way to go. At some stage, City might go above them by a point or two. It's not the end of the world, as I said. We're still very early in the season. But there's a nervousness around Arsenal, as you'd expect, because they haven't won the league for so long. I get that. But they're going to have to curb it between now and May.
How do you see it, Olivier? Is this the season that Arsenal are going to end this long wait?
Hopefully, I wish them. But usually we used to get nervous around February or March. And I remember when Leicester won the title in 2016, we collapsed a little bit in that time. So if Arsenal is able to keep the rhythm and the race with City probably until mid-March, I would say.
Olivier, can I ask you, when you say how it affected you mentally at that stage, are you talking about the squad of players in the dressing room, or are you talking about actually the crowd and sort of the atmosphere and everyone getting a little bit nervous about actually losing what they had?
Can you say again? Sorry. Sorry. I lost you.
Are you talking about the dressing room and the players?
Yeah.
Or are you talking about the crowd as well and everybody around Arsenal?
No. I'm talking about us, the players. And statistically, and you can see no records, even the previous years, last year and 2 years ago, Arsenal was there until a certain period or where they lost the race for the title because they were not consistent enough, at this time, February or March. It's still early to say they will win the league, but this kind of 3 points are massive.
Mm-hmm. There was the talk even then about whether Arsenal had the striker who was going to score the goals to take them to the title. Even when you were playing, Olivier, they've spent a lot of money on Victor Gyökeres in the hope that he's going to fill that gap for them and be the man to take them onwards to the title. He was in action against Wolves at the weekend. What have you made of him so far in an Arsenal shirt?
I like his quality, his characteristic. He's strong, he can turn and finish. I think, we just need to give him a bit of time, and he's got everything a good striker require for the top level, and he need more game time and confidence, and I think Mikel Arteta gonna give him.
Mikel Arteta certainly has options now, growing. 4 possibilities really with the return of Gabriel Jesus, who we've seen in the last couple of games, and also Kai Havertz, who we think is getting closer, maybe from the start of 2026. He's only a couple of weeks away. And this is what they have contributed in the Premier League since the start of last season, these 4 different options, with their minutes per goal and assist across the bottom. And that tells us that Merino is probably the most efficient so far, and Gyökeres the least efficient. Is there one here that you think Mikel Arteta will turn to that is going to deliver the title for them this season?
Mikel Arteta is a lucky manager to have these 4 players up front. Competition is good for the squad. I will say Gabriel Jesus coming back after a long injury, so we need to give him more time. Kai Havertz, more or less the same. Merino is doing a good job also up front, even if he's not a proper number 9. And I want to see as still a number 9. I want to see Gyökeres succeed in that team. I think he can improve, but he has everything. One more time, a top striker demands to the top level.
Your argument, Jamie, was always that last season, when everyone said Arsenal need a number 9 to get them to the title, your argument was always it wasn't that, they needed more creativity. Can a combination of these players do the job for Mikel Arteta?
Yeah, I think Gyökeres has come in, and we have to be honest, it's almost like the word on the street before he come to the Premier League was, we're not quite sure he's at the level of a really top European club, which is what Arsenal are now, one of the best teams in Europe. And I think even though it's early in his Arsenal reign, I think you can see where that sentiment was coming from. I actually think it's going to be tough for Gyökeres to be first choice Arsenal striker, especially when Gabriel Jesus gets up to speed, who I actually think is a better player than Gyökeres. I think Gyökeres would maybe score more goals over the season, but in terms of everything you'd want from a centre forward, I think Jesus is probably a better player. Moreno right now, I actually think he's probably his first choice. I know Gyökeres played at the weekend. I think that was down to the fact that he was just coming back from injury, needed a game, and it was also Wolves at home. Moreno's been fantastic, getting goals in that position, but almost like a false nine. Havertz again is almost another version of that. So you've almost got a bit of, variety there with a really good striker, a goal scorer, and players who almost play the false nine position as well. So I actually think they're going to need all four of them if they're going to go on and win the title. I don't think any of them is almost the guy who's this world-class striker that Arsenal have been after since maybe, Van Persie, Thierry Henry, Ian Wright.
Mm-hmm. No, not me. Don't put all the pressure on one player.
You're a World Cup winner. You're a World Cup winner.
I like it because you need different type of striker to win the league. And
unless you have Erling Haaland.
Unless you have Erling Haaland and all the players feeding him with great balls. But he's amazing.
Leandro Trossard proved to be the perfect antidote to Arsenal's attacking frustrations, following Mikel Arteta's candid remarks about Victor Gyökeres. Gyökeres may have struggled to truly impress since his summer arrival at Arsenal, but over the weekend, there was finally a glimpse of what he is capable of. More importantly, Trossard showed exactly why he could be the key to unlocking the Swedish striker's full potential during Arsenal's hard-fought 2-1 victory over Wolves at the Emirates Stadium. The 31-year-old winger injected fresh energy into Mikel Arteta's side on Saturday night and helped breathe new life into the Gunners' attack. Shortly after replacing Gabriel Martinelli in the second half, Arsenal found the breakthrough. While Trossard did not directly contribute to either the opening goal or the dramatic stoppage time winner, his influence on the game was undeniable. Trossard took control of proceedings, dictating the tempo and pulling the strings down the left flank. Time and again, he dismantled Wolves' compact defensive setup, releasing Miles Lewis-Skelly into space, picking out Declan Rice on the edge of the box, and crucially, feeding Gyökeres with intelligent, well-timed passes. Operating as a creative hub, the Belgian showcased his playmaking qualities, delivering sharp, purposeful distribution. His introduction completely shifted the momentum of the match, and for the first time in weeks, Arsenal's $64 million striker briefly looked like a genuine threat. Before Trossard's arrival, Gyökeres endured a frustrating and ineffective outing in attack. In fact, the Belgian was the only player to carve out a clear-cut opportunity for the 27-year-old forward, slipping a simple yet incisive ball in behind the Wolves' backline. Gyökeres controlled the pass, beat his defender, and aimed for the far post. Wolves goalkeeper Sam Johnstone was beaten, but the Swedish striker saw his effort agonizingly drift just wide. If Arteta truly wants to get the best out of Gyökeres, then granting Trossard a more prominent role in the starting 11th could be the solution. Speaking to TNT Sports after the win, the Arsenal manager openly addressed the challenges facing his marquee signing. "It's a collaboration between the two," Arteta explained. "He was in some really good positions, but the ball didn't arrive quickly enough, accurately enough, or with the precision a number 9 needs to score." But his commitment and intention were there, and we have to keep pushing. Arteta was equally vocal in defending Gyökeres prior to the match, urging patience with the striker's adaptation to English football. "There was huge expectation because we were signing a proven goal scorer, probably with the best statistics in Europe," Arteta said. "But he's coming into a different league, the most demanding league in the world. What happens if he doesn't score in 5 or 6 games? That was the only question I asked him. How are you going to react if you don't score in 5 or 6 matches? Can you handle that? And what about the next 100 games? That's what people need to see. The sample size is still very small, so leave him alone. Let him do what he does best. Support him, and I'm convinced things will come good." That message from Arteta resonated beyond the Emirates. In the days following the Wolves' victory, the debate around Gyökeres intensified among pundits, supporters, and former players. While some questioned whether Arsenal's record signing is truly suited to the Premier League's pace and physicality, others pointed to the structural issues around him rather than the striker himself. Much of the post-match analysis focused on Arsenal's chance creation and balance in the final third. The Wolves game highlighted a recurring theme this season. Gyökeres often makes the right movements, but the service into dangerous areas has been inconsistent. When Trossard entered the match, that problem briefly disappeared. Arsenal suddenly looked more fluid, more unpredictable, and far better equipped to supply a traditional number 9. Former players speaking on television and radio were quick to note the contrast. With Trossard drifting inside and linking play, Arsenal's attacking shape became more compact, allowing Gyökeres to stay higher up the pitch and occupy central defenders. That, in turn, created space for midfield runners like Rice and Ødegaard to arrive late in the box. It was a glimpse of an attacking formula that Arsenal have rarely sustained this season. The reaction from supporters has been equally divided. While frustration with Gyökeres' goal return remains, there is growing appreciation for his work rate, physical presence, and willingness to press from the front. Many fans now see Trossard as the missing connector, the player who can translate Gyökeres' movement into genuine scoring opportunities. Internally, Arteta faces an important decision. Persisting with a front line that isolates Gyökeres risks damaging the striker's confidence, especially with tougher fixtures on the horizon. At the same time, promoting Trossard to a regular starting role could mean reshuffling wide positions and reducing Martinelli's minutes, a bold call that would not come without consequences. Yet football at the highest level often comes down to chemistry rather than reputation. The Wolves match suggested that Arsenal's most expensive signing may not need drastic changes to his own game, but rather the right supporting cast around him. If Arteta embraces that idea, Gyökeres' slow start could soon be remembered as nothing more than a difficult adjustment period. For now, the pressure remains. Goals will ultimately define Gyökeres' Arsenal career, and patience in North London is never unlimited. But with Trossard offering clarity, creativity, and calm in possession, Arsenal may finally have found the key to unlocking their striker and turning promise into consistent production.